former world champion against the current world champion. There's Neil Robertson, whose progress was hanging on by a thread yesterday. Half a second to spare. He got over the line.
Neil Robertson versus Doherty. 20-second shot clock in operation. Let the shootout begin.
I thought you have a first name, no?
Ken saying he has a first name. I think there was 2 Robertsons in the draw, wasn't there? That's why Neil gets his first name in. Jimmy Robertson, who played on the first day. And I think you did that match yesterday, didn't you? The remarkable game, Willie, which Neil somehow won.
Well, he was so far behind, wasn't he? We didn't. Looking at it in real time, I honestly didn't think he got enough time to get the required points, but he judged it to perfection. And it was always notable how Alan McManus stood in the background and thinking that because the black went in after the time, but of course it's when you hit the ball, so it was just to the absolute last second.
I was standing next to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He thought it was impossible. I told him it was possible, and I'm thinking, hang on, I'm telling Ronnie that it can be done, the man who's one of the quickest players of all time. And he said, you were right.
One of those that Ken didn't want that in, because remember, you have to touch a cushion, so he can't just roll in behind the black as you would normally do.
It's a good point, Willie, isn't it? And the black, of course, touched the cushion, so the shot is legal. As you say, normally just a drop in behind the black would have done.
Where the pink and black have gone, it looks like we could be in for a little scrappier affair in this frame.
And I think that's the beauty of this tournament, in that you get the classic frames where there's good breaks, and we've seen century breaks, haven't we, already in this event, 3 of them. But even a scrappy frame has usually got a very interesting conclusion.
In saying that, I'm a little surprised that Ken took that on. There was no need to push the boat out a little bit.
Out of character, really, that shot. Crafty Ken, as they call him. He knows exactly what shot to play. Got a very good all-round game. I'm seeing the attacking side of him this week, though.
Yeah, 2 matches stood out in this draw. This was one of them, Robertson versus Doherty. The other one was obviously O'Sullivan, Selby, which is to come.
I suppose the other thing is Neil Robertson probably feels he's up for none here. I mean, he's looked out, really. So he feels he's got a life.
5.
He's already proved his versatility. He won the World Championships and then he won the World Open. Very different amount of frames there. The World Open just best of 5 all the way through, and World Championship best of 35. Terrific arena here in Blackpool.
Yes, I must admit it's made for snooker, isn't it? It's absolutely perfect. The arena is just round. All the audience are very, very close to you, and the atmosphere. It's the best I've ever seen at a snooker match, to be honest. It's been really, really exciting. I think we've probably had about 5 poor matches, and the rest have been excellent.
They played the 1948 World Final here, Willie. Do you think it was the same kind of atmosphere then, or what?
I think you weren't allowed to breathe then, were you? The referee would give you the evil eye.
Well, first of all, I think the matches were over a fortnight. These were over 10 minutes.
Apparently all frames had to be played. So if you were 31-0 in front, you still had to play the other few games, you know.
Madness, isn't it? Anyway, that's how it used to be played. This is snooker 2011 style. This is a tricky one to the middle. I think he knew that he wouldn't get great position there. Don't think he could avoid going into that red that he collided with.
Well, this is one that, you know, okay, he's a great potter, Neil Robertson, but is there any need to risk playing this shot?
Neil Robertson, 20.
He certainly played it in such a way that he wouldn't leave a lot, I suppose. Can always leave the red. though.
I think that's one part of the game the players have not really got in the mind yet with the 10-second shot clock, Neil. What is the right and wrong way to play? When do I go for a pot? When is it not necessarily an advantage to play a pot? And that was one of those times there where I think a good safety shot there would have been slightly more advantageous, but he got away with it. He hasn't this time though.
Again, with enough time to just see how thin this cut is, so walk round, have a look. Don't think he can have much idea where the cue ball will finish on this. He's just got to take a risk.
And wait for the noise now.
15-second shot clock in operation.
And that's exactly what it is. Now the players have to be very aware. That's most players would struggle to play with a 15-second shot clock.
Well, he's not, maybe not on that red in the middle. I think it just with a touch of side to make the pot possible. This is tight. In 2 or 3 looks at it, and he's played it well.
Well, Crafty Ken knows that if he can just stay at the table now and make about a 40 break, that will be enough. Ken does that so often. You've got to go into them there, Ken.
12.
It's too dangerous to play for one red.
Yeah, and also this table is very speedy on the bed. I noticed it earlier. It's running very quickly, so it's hard to play that shot.
Always done that, Ken, hasn't he? He's
Ken
always been a little bit negative in the break building department.
Yeah,
One of his favourites, isn't it, Neil, this?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it if he's a few points in front, but he was chasing the game there, so it was worth going into them. Big cueing shot.
Well, you can't hit a ball better than that. How he generated the speed there to get that ball past the blue spot was incredible. He could have played that another 100 times and never, ever from that position got the white past the blue spot.
Hit it almost too well. It's a very clever shot.
Robertson white.
Well, that was one of the best shots we've seen in this tournament so far. As you know, a player has hit the cushion and he was just a fraction away from being in behind the yellow.
Well, attentional pockets here. He played the safety. He knew he was crashing into the pack. Oh, this has done some damage, hasn't it?
Should be all over, shouldn't it? 4 reds, 4 colours. That'll take him the best part of a couple of minutes and he'll be enough in front, so just got to be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be the combination of the points he scores and the time he soaks up here. So it's in his own hands.
Oh, Canada loved to have that blue back again, wouldn't he, when he potted the blue in the middle and played for a loose red.
7.
There you can see Neil just now making sure that he's using as much time as possible.
8.
Well, he's got the chance to freeze out Ken Doherty here. You can see like 2 reds and 2 highest value colours in the offing, providing he doesn't do anything stupid.
16.
And that will really soak up a lot of time, so he's a very strong favourite now. He'd have to miss something easy, I think, for Ken to get back.
Yeah, to get back with enough time to win, and just one more red and colour, and I don't think he'll have that time.
22.
So we all fancied probably an outsider to win this tournament with the format as it was, but we're going to have another one of the top seeds going into the next round, into the quarter-finals. The next game is going to be special, isn't it? O'Sullivan-Selby.
23.
I guess the whole format is tailor-made for O'Sullivan. Now, Neil just running the clock down, the equivalent of putting the ball close to the corner flag in football, I suppose, when you're a goal
29.
or 2 up.
Ronnie O'Sullivan getting ready for his game against Selby, just having a little 10 minutes on the table. Knows that Robertson's going to be in the draw for the quarterfinals.
Quick reference to the Ashes there from
36.
somebody in the audience. I think Neil had forgotten about all of that. It's a very good display this from Neil.
5, 4.
We haven't let him forget about the Ashes.
1.
Well, there you are, the world champion wins comfortably in the end. Ken congratulates him. Neil Robertson is through to the last 8.